Hey, thanks everybody for being here. Once again, obviously a virtual event. Our 12th annual Wayne Morse Gala and the 13th will be live. To begin tonight's festivities, I want to introduce you to and welcome our chair of the DPO Native American Caucus, Karina Miller. She will do tonight's land recognition. So Karina, please take it away.
Tonight I'm going to be translating Ichishki into English for you. We'll be speaking the language of the Warm Springs people.
Niklawa kwatlapam wianoi ichi squi chikuknash pinachach paishaich timana imiao ingnash waniksha Karina Miller ku inmi winch waniksha luguaya ku inmi isht waniksha walach Pikey Miller.
Good evening. I'm happy you all came today. Today I'm opening my heart to you. My name is Luquaya. This is Karina Miller and our son Walach Pikey Miller.
Shopnit shopwi yak utnami ayu it ku tonight nami timana wauna kwashash ku ishwit yao.
I'm asking for guidance in our daily struggles and to fill our hearts, body, and spirit with happiness.
Shuktash Tribal Nations of Oregon.
We recognize the tribal nations of Oregon. This includes the Burns Paiute tribe, the Confederate tribes of Coos, Lower Umpqua, and Siuslaw Indians, the Confederate tribes of Grand Round, the Confederate tribes of Siletz Indians of Oregon, the Confederate tribes of Umatilla Indian Reservation, the Confederate tribes of Warm Springs, the Coquille Indian tribe, the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua tribe of Indians, and the Klamath tribes. We also express our respect for all other displaced Indigenous peoples who call Oregon home, and the tribes who are still here fighting for formal recognition. We also want to recognize and honor all of the Black people whose land, wealth, and resources have been unjustly taken.
It's also time we acknowledge that all of the systems we operate in are born of genocidal policy and intent. And to truly fight Indigenous erasure, we must do everything we possibly can to make sure we are holding institutions, individuals, and above all, ourselves accountable. We are honored to be here to offer acknowledgement and to honor the Indigenous people of our state. And we ask that you honor us by prioritizing tribal issues, fighting for social justice, and by understanding acknowledgement is the bare minimum, and we have a lot farther to go. Kwatla, and enjoy the 12th annual virtual Wayne Morse Gala.
Thank you, Karina. It's always a pleasure and honor to have you. Senator Manning, you are on for our Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Casey, and thanks, Karina, for that beautiful invocation that she provided. I always say, for the record, my name is Senator James Ivory Manning Jr. I'm a senator from District 7, and today I am extremely excited to be here to hear from our DNC chair, Jamie Harrison, who I've seen a lot on television, and just eager to hear what he has to say. So I'm looking forward to the great work that we intend to do, moving into all these wins that I see as possible in 2022. But before that, I would like to start off with and lead the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you would please stand with me and cite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator Manning. We really appreciate that, and it's an honor to hear from you as well. So we're back to the Wayne Morse, the 12th annual Wayne Morse. Once again, under the auspices of COVID, we are Zooming, but we still gather as Democrats, and we're really good at it. So we gather in honor of Wayne Morse himself, an Oregonian and a Democrat who is truly guided by ethics and was always driven to do what was right. 2020 was challenging in so many ways, and I want to thank you for being here and sticking with us during these tough times. Thank you amazingly. Because of all your support and because of all your hard work statewide, our Get Out the Vote programs contacted over 1 million Oregon Democrats and won races up and down the ballot. We got Trump out of the White House with the rest of America and elected Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We reelected Senator Murphy and took back the US Senate. We won the Oregon Secretary of State's office by electing Shamia Fagan, and we reelected our Attorney General and Treasurer Tobias Reed. We reelected our whole Democratic congressional team and helped defend Congressman Peter DeFazio against a well-funded national attack by right-wing Republicans. On top of all that, we maintained our majorities in the state Senate and the state House and elected more local Democrats all across Oregon. All these folks are hard at work getting us back on track to overcome and rebound from this pandemic. And oh, but by the way, in this last election in May, we performed amazingly. Democrats running for the local partisan offices won in 80% of the races. An amazing, amazing work. And thank you to everybody working locally, from county parties to local activists, for doing that. But I would really like to thank you here, our donors. Your dedication is an invaluable asset as we fight for progressive values in Oregon. So let me run through some of the folks. Thank you to our President's Council members who give us the major investments to make sure we have the building blocks of our organizing and outreach programs. Capitol Circle, these folks stretch it out to make sure Democrats are armed with the tools to win. And of course, our grassroots Democrats are hundreds of grassroots members who give each and every month so we can build the strongest outreach campaigns possible. Thank you all. You've given and continue to give us the base of support we need to build our campaigns early and win, and we are already on top of it. We'll thank our sponsors in a bit, but I wanted to give an extra shout out to our constant and wonderful donors. Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians, IBEW, the Northwest Carpenters, Morel Inc., LaModa, NGP Van and Target Spark, our own DPO union, IUPAC, the Painters, and an extra shout out to our frontline workers who have done so much for all of this year and who are sponsoring tonight's gala as well. The Oregon Federation of Nurses and Health Professionals, Oregon Nurses Association, and UFCW, who is putting up a match tonight for contributions to the DPO and will make an additional $5,000 match donation to the Northwest Workers Justice Project. UFCW 555 is proud to support the Northwest Workers Justice Project, which provides significant support for low-wage workers and their organizations, as the NWJP works tirelessly to protect workers' rights and protect their right to organize. Check out the chat to see more about the Northwest Workers Justice Project. So now we're rolling on, and I'm happy to turn it over to our Vice Chair, Rosa Colquitt. Rosa, Zoom is yours.
I'm trying to unmute. Okay, I am unmuted. Thank you very much, Chair Casey. Hello, everybody. I am immensely happy and proud to introduce our Governor, Kate Brown. There are hundreds of superlatives to note about her leadership, but I have to narrow it down to just a few. And when I say hundreds, I'm very sincere about that. I've known this governor for a long time. She was the first woman to serve as Oregon Senate Majority Leader. She helped bring democracy into the 21st century by enabling online voter registration and assistive technologies for voters with disabilities. She signed into law the Motor Voter Bill and the Oregon Equal Pay Act. She became the first governor in the nation openly identified as LGBTQ. She made Oregon the first state in the nation to protect service workers with the Fair Work Week Act. Governor Brown has put heart and soul into her every waking moment, hour, to protect all Oregonians during the COVID-19 pandemic, and is leading us to a very strong and safe reopening, for which we are all very thankful. And as our nation grapples with the impacts of systemic racism, Governor Brown is committed to centering racial justice and a new vision for community safety in the state budget and in her administration's agenda. Gala attendees, I cannot tell you how proud I am to introduce to you our Governor, Kate Brown. Governor
Oh my
Brown.
gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vice Chair Rosa. Thank you for your amazing leadership and for your kind words. Trust me, they are much appreciated. Casey, thanks for your leadership as well. I saw Governor Barbara Roberts here. Glad to have her in the Zoom room. Karina Miller and family, so glad you could join us tonight. Thank you for your land acknowledgement. Senator Manning, thank you for your extraordinary service. And thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. First topic, June, is GOTV. That's get out the vaccine. Let's make it happen. We need to vaccinate 127,000 more Oregonians before we fully reopen. So I'm asking you, encouraging you to ask your family, your friends, everyone you know who has not been vaccinated to take your shot and get it done. It's a chance to win $1 million and it will help us reopen our economy. So June's the month. I do have to say, and Vice Chair Rosa mentioned this, it has been one heck of a year. And I think it's time that we take stock of everything that happened, the pandemic, the wildfires, the economic crisis, and a long overdue clarion call for racial justice, and then an election like no other. But tonight, we can celebrate that Oregon is emerging stronger than almost every other state in the nation. We've consistently had the lowest COVID infection rates and are on track to reach our 70% vaccination rate and get back to normalcy. And I think we're all looking forward to that. But for me, tonight is also incredibly important because it marks a moment for all of us to move forward together. I want to make it really, really clear. As we recover from the pandemic, we are absolutely focused on creating a more just, a more equitable, a safer, and a more resilient Oregon. By grounding our recovery efforts in racial equity, we can support opportunity and justice for all of Oregon's communities. We're doing the hard work to bring fairness to our justice system, which has certainly given unequal treatment to Black and Brown communities for far too long, to center equity and racial justice as core values, to ensure that Black, Indigenous, and people of color are at the to lead our state forward. In this year's legislative session, I'm really excited to see that we are moving forward with a very bold and sweeping package of legislation aimed at addressing police accountability and the toll that systemic racism has taken on our state. Our legislators deserve credit for extraordinary work here, and let's give them a round of applause or jazz hands. And since I've become your governor, we certainly have moved forward on policy innovations in Oregon that have been replicated across the entire country. I think you all know we were the first in the country to eliminate the use of coal power statewide. Other states have followed suit. We passed the country's first bill to guarantee full reproductive health care, regardless of any Supreme Court ruling on Roe versus Wade. And 12 other states have followed our lead. We passed a historic transgender equality bill and legislation to guarantee health care for all of our children, regardless of immigration status. And I'm sure hoping we're going to pass Cover All People this legislative session. We also passed the country's first automatic voter registration law. And now this Oregon voting policy has been implemented in 20 other states and jurisdictions. And there's a couple of states out there, and I'm looking at you, Arizona and Georgia, are trying to roll back access to the ballot. But I am so pleased to see our US senators and our congressional delegation taking a page from Oregon's playbook and using Oregon's approach to voting as a model for the entire country in HR1 and S1. all of us tonight should be extremely proud of Oregon's example, especially our leadership on voting access. But everyone in this Zoom room knows we cannot rest on our laurels. This year alone across the country, more than 350 bills restricting Americans' access to the ballot have been introduced in state legislatures. We have to take action now to defend the freedom to vote, protect access for our seniors, our veterans, for our communities of color, and voters in rural communities. I absolutely believe, and I know every Oregonian agrees with me, that every American has a constitutional right to cast a vote so they can have a voice in their government. And HR 1 and S1 protect the freedom to vote by making voting options such as early and absentee voting accessible across all 50 states. It ensures that the voices of the people will be heard. I am so proud of and grateful for our congressional delegation for helping bring this legislation forward and standing up for democracy in Washington, D.C. It's a little scary right now because, my friends, you know, we live in an age where 30% of Americans question whether our sitting president was legitimately elected to office. So believe me when I tell you how important it is for you tonight to continue your generous support of the Democratic Party of Oregon, which has helped make Oregon a model for the nation. Keep it up, Oregon Democrats, and let's send a really strong message in 2022 that in this country and in this state, democracy stands strong. Thank you all so much. Let's have a great rest of the evening.
Pete, you're muted, so you need to unmute yourself, my friend.
Sorry, I lost audio there. Thank you, Governor Brown. I'm DPO Vice Chair Pete Lee, and now it's my honor to introduce Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici, representing Oregon's 1st Congressional District. Strengthening public education is one of Suzanne's top priorities and one of the reasons why she got involved in public service. In Congress, she is a leader on the Education and Labor Committee and chair of the Subcommittee on Civil Rights and Human Services. Congressman Bonamici has long been an advocate for equity in education policy and funding, and is focused on making college more affordable and providing workers with in-demand skills to enter the workforce. Suzanne is fighting to help working families get ahead and to build an economy that gives everyone the opportunity to succeed. We're so grateful to have you, Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici.
Thank you so much, Pete, for that really kind introduction. Thank you, everybody at the DPO, for hosting the event. Oh, we have Jamie Harrison here and Senator Wyden and so many inspiring speakers. I think this is really the Zoom where it happens tonight. So I really want to thank all of you and acknowledge that, you know, the past 18 months have been incredibly challenging. I'm thinking actually the past 5 years have been incredibly challenging. And we know that there's still so much work to do to rebuild back better from the pandemic and to help those who are still struggling, because we know there are many. But we need to take time to celebrate the 2020 election and all that the Biden administration has already accomplished. We've already passed a massive progressive relief package. President Biden signed into law the American Rescue Plan, and that includes, among many other things, landmark provisions that will help millions of children out of poverty. The administration has reversed and continues to reverse so many of Trump's harmful actions through executive order, and what we have already done with Democratic majorities in the House and the Senate. And I want to note, it's been more than 9, almost 10 years since I've been in Congress, and this is my first session in the majority with a Democratic president. And I tell you, it really makes a difference. So with our Democratic majority in the House, we're working to make childcare affordable and accessible, bring equity to education, pre-K through college. The House has already passed HR 1, the Good Government Voting Rights Bill, the Equality Act, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. We're working on humane and comprehensive immigration reform, addressing gun violence prevention, which is why I'm wearing orange today, protecting the right to organize, finally taking bold action to address the climate crisis, protect public lands, and the list goes on. And it makes it so possible and so hopeful to have a Democratic administration and Democratic majorities. And it also makes me hopeful to have a low drama, respectful, thoughtful presence in the White House and in all of the agencies, people who believe in science and democracy. And this could not have happened without all of your hard work. We have President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris because of your hard work. We have a majority in the US Senate because of your hard work. You helped keep the majority in the House, slim as it is, it's still a majority, and you have helped make all of this possible. Do we have many challenges still ahead? Absolutely. We have the gridlock in the Senate. I know our senators, Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley, are fighting. And we have the fight coming up in 2022 to retain our slim majority in the House. We know the House is targeted. We have the uncertainty in Oregon with our 6th congressional district and redistricting. And we have the Supreme Court's threat to Roe versus Wade and many other issues. But I know Oregon Democrats can meet these challenges. We have in the past, we will in the future. I look forward to continuing to work with all of you. See you on the trail. Have a wonderful evening tonight at the Wayne Morse Gala.
Thank you, Congresswoman Bonamici. Hi, friends. My name is Travis Nelson, and I'm an officer of the Democratic Party and one of your Democratic National Committee members. I'd like to thank the elected officials who are participating tonight. If you are a county, city, or local elected official, or I don't call your name, please chat out everyone so that we know that you are here tonight. Our keynote speaker tonight, as has already been mentioned, is DNC Chair Jamie Harrison. Our federal office holders in attendance are Senator Ron Wyden, Senator Jeff Merkley, Congressman Peter DeFazio, Congressman Earl Blumenauer, Congressman Kurt Schrader, and Congresswoman Susan Bonamici, who we just heard from. Our statewide office holders, Governor Kate Brown, Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum, Treasurer Tobias Reed, Labor Commissioner Val Hoyle, and Secretary of State Shemia Fagan. And thank you to our sovereign nations and the tribal officials representing them, including CEO of the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua, Tribe of Indians, Michael Rundo, the Confederate Tribes of Grand Ronde, Councilwoman Denise Harvey. I'd like to thank all of our state senators and state representatives. Thank you so much for fighting for us every day in Salem. You do us proud. And some of you are here tonight, including State Senators Michael Dimbrow, Oregon Senate Majority Leader Rob Wagner, Senator Lou Frederick, Senator Jeff Golden, Senator Chris Gorsuch, Senator Casey Jama, Senator Kate Lieber, Senator James Manning, Senator Deb Patterson, and Senator Elizabeth Steiner Hayward. Our state representatives, Oregon House Majority Leader Barbara Smith Warner, Janelle Bynum, Maxine Dexter, Dave Gomberg, Dacia Graber, Zach Hudson, Jason Kropp, Courtney Neron, Rob Nose, Con Pham, Karen Power, Jeff Reardon, Lisa Reynolds, Ricky Ruiz, Andrea Salinas, Sherry Shoughton, Andrea Valderrama, Marty Wilde, and Anna Williams. Our former elected officials, Governor Barbara Roberts, former Secretary of State Bill Bradbury, former Secretary of State and former DPO Chair Gene Atkins, former State Senate Majority Leader Diane Rosenblum, former State Representative Phil Barnhart, former State Representative Margaret Doherty, and former Democratic Party of Oregon Chair Frank Dixon. And thank you. And thank you to all other current, past elected officials from local. Before I pass the baton, I just want to take a quick moment to acknowledge how difficult the past year has been for all of us, but I'd like to specifically acknowledge essential workers and their contributions. As a registered nurse myself, I know the sacrifice made by essential workers, and as a society, we have not shown you all the respect that you all deserve. Thank you for your service and dedication.
Hello, Democrats. I'm Democratic National Committee member Michelle Risher, and I'd like to thank my fellow Democratic Party of Oregon officers, Chair Casey Hansen, Vice Chair Pete Lee, Vice Chair Rosa Colquitt, Secretary Eileen Kiley, Treasurer Eddie Morales, and my fellow Democratic National Committee members, Matt Keating and Travis Nelson. And thank you to our DPO staff. They're working hard every year, year-round to elect more Democrats. And now we'll have videos from Congressman Peter DeFazio and Congressman Kurt Schrader. But first, we'll hear from Congressman Earl Blumenauer. Congressman Blumenauer is an advocate for bold, lasting, progressive change. He started in the Oregon House, served as a county commissioner and on the Portland City Council. There, his advocacy for public transportation, environmental protection, and school funding earned him a national reputation as a leader for livable communities. He's been on the front lines of issues important to Oregonians, fighting for universal health care, criminal justice reform, stopping gun violence, ending the failed war on drugs, calling for more labor rights and fair wages for working folks, and securing our elections. He also wrote and championed the $28.6 billion restaurant relief program signed into law as part of the American Rescue Plan. Earls led the effort for bold action to combat climate change. He co-wrote the Green New Deal and crafted legislation declaring climate change a national emergency. And as a member of the powerful Ways and Means Committee, Earl's been pushing for a single-payer healthcare system like Medicare for All and fairer tax policies that truly tackle income inequality. We're so lucky to have Congressman Earl Blumenauer representing us. Congressman, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate your kind introduction, and I appreciate the opportunity to be with you this evening. As I listen to Travis go through that honor roll of champions for the Democratic Party in Oregon, it's really remarkable. The breadth and strength of the folks from top to bottom that have made progress here in Oregon possible. We were all part of the very amazing success in 2020. You know, the thinnest of margins would have resulted in losing the Senate, losing control of the House, but you were part of this national dynamic where we were able to hold on. Those fabulous results coming out of Georgia, where we actually control now the US Senate. Change even when it's 50-50 with Kamala Harris casting the deciding vote, Chuck Schumer as majority leader. We're no longer going to have the Senate be a hospice for good Democratic legislation that passes the House and lingers and dies. These are things that Republicans cannot pigeonhole. They're going to have to take a stand. And you've already seen the result of the Democratic majority. The American Rescue Plan is breathtaking in terms of the accomplishments for health, for equity. You look at what's going to happen just in the part that we had in the Ways and Means Committee dealing with child poverty. We're going to this year nearly cut child poverty in half in America. The checks are going to be going out to American families for their children starting this next month. I'm more than a little proud of what we did with the restaurant rescue plan that has made almost 1,000 restaurants in Oregon eligible for $143,000 on average each, to throw them a lifeline, those essential part of our community. And that plan was developed with independent restaurateurs and activists here in Oregon, making a difference across the country. Now, the margins, make no mistake, are razor thin. We've got to stop Joe Biden from appointing Democrats and creating vacancies. We're down to a 4-point margin now. But our Democratic leadership, spearheaded by Speaker Pelosi, has kept that diverse group of Democrats united on the most aggressive, progressive agenda that we've seen since the New Deal. Think about it. And we're not done yet. Having a grown-up in the White House, Joe Biden makes me proud every day with his sort of common sense approach. He's such a genuine human being, exuding compassion and taking America back from this go it alone, reckless series of activities, alienating our friends and mystifying our opponents. Joe Biden is a grown-up. Joe Biden has unveiled the most progressive agenda that we've seen. You know, I've been in Congress 25 years, and it's only on one other occasion where we had Democrats in control of the House and the Senate and the presidency. This has been a long time coming, but I will tell you that we've already accomplished so much in terms of bringing these issues out, in terms of gun safety, in terms of election reform, in terms of healthcare. These items are going to make a difference, setting the agenda for the most important election on an off year that we've ever seen. You are looking at the most progressive and important Congress in American history. This session is going to be the most consequential. Excuse me, words fail. I get all excited about this. This is really an amazing array of opportunities that we have, but you made it possible. The outline that we heard of the men and women who serve in Oregon on the front lines, men and women who have already accomplished a progressive record, and we're not done with this legislature yet. And last but not least, I appreciate the acknowledgement of the men and women, the essential workers that held things together during the pandemic. And it wasn't just nurses and doctors. We're talking about people who stocked grocery shelves, who delivered food, who worked in order to provide the services in the hospitals, the cleaning and laundry and food. We have a new definition of essential services. People understand now that childcare is an essential service. You can't have health and education and a functioning economy without being able to help families take care of their children. So please accept my sincere appreciation for all that you've done and that we're going to do together. It's going to be a battle to hold on to the House, to expand our majority in the Senate, but I think we can do it. And what's going to make the difference is this Democratic agenda that is, you know, ironically, it's what the American people want. Republicans never quite thought of it that way. We're going to rebuild and renew the country based on equity, a low carbon future. We'll be able to pay for it with a novel concept that will help rich people remember to pay the taxes they already owe. This is an exciting agenda. You made it possible. Thank you for allowing me to be with you this evening to add my congratulations, and look forward to working with you for the remainder of this year to be able to set up the stage for this critical 2022 election. Thank you very, very much.
Well, welcome to the Wayne Morse Gala. You know, I've got a photo in the corner of my office of Wayne Morse, and a lot of evenings when we're there late, Wayne and I have conversations, and I say he would be absolutely, totally appalled at the state of the country these days, the divisions, the Republicans denying climate change and other serious issues. And we need people who will speak the truth like Wayne did, even ultimately to lose his seat in the Senate over his conscience in opposing the Vietnam War. A tragic American mistake, only to be totally eclipsed by Bush's much worse, even foreign policy mistake in the invasion of Iraq. So I'm pleased to be with you. I'm quite busy at the moment working on my transportation bill, which is a core part of President Biden's package. I just talked to the president today at some length about it. He looks at it as a principal mover of the American Jobs Plan. Obviously, the Jobs Plan is way bigger than my infrastructure bill, but this will be the biggest single portion of it, and it'll be mated with the Energy and Commerce Committee in being the portions of the American Jobs Plan that deal meaningfully and significantly with climate change by defossilizing transportation, the largest contributor to fossil fuel pollution in the country. It'll also include new programs for social equity, rejoin committees that have been split asunder by our freeway mania, require states to look at alternatives to more highway miles, more transit, more rail, high-speed rail, more commuter rail, to make that more convenient to people, to get them out of single occupancy vehicles, a major investment in what we call active transportation, that is cycling, pedestrian, micro transit and other things to help people, again, not be stuck in single occupancy vehicles and traffic, and to lessen their impact on the environment. I'm going to mark up the bill next Tuesday in committee. I expect it'll go on for several days, since the Republicans on my committee are universally opposed to it. They say it's an embodiment of the Green New Deal. And I said, what's wrong with that? We deal with resilience in terms of severe weather events, sea level rise, earthquakes here in the West. We rebuild with new materials, less carbon intense. We electrify the national highway network and eliminate fossil fuel pollution. And we create millions of good paying jobs. And we have new job training programs to reach out into communities and areas that have been left behind in the economy as we've been deindustrialized by our tragically disastrous, bad trade policies, which finally this president is beginning to reform. So thank you for supporting the Democratic Party of Oregon and the future of our state and the nation. Democrats must keep in power in Oregon. We must keep the House. We must keep the Senate. We got to keep the White House, because if these people take it over, they will pervert it in ways where we will never, ever get it back, as we're seeing in red states trying to repress the vote of people of color and others. So thanks again, and have a good evening.
Hello, Oregon Democrats. Congressman Kurt Schrader here. Thanks so much for having me and all the hard work you've been doing during the COVID-19 pandemic and turning out the vote in an unprecedented election. So we were able to undo the considerable damage caused by this past administration. It's because of your efforts that Democrats were able to take charge of this COVID crisis, pass relief on to help struggling families and businesses, reopen our schools, and get shots in the arms. It's all paving the way for us to return to our normal lives and get the economy back on track. I'm helping to move causes we deeply care about through Congress, from voting to pass H.R. 1 to ensure every American has the same incredible access to the ballot box that we have here in Oregon, to championing the Paycheck Fairness Act, so women finally earn equal pay for equal work, and passing the Safe Banking Act, so legitimate cannabis businesses can access banking services and stop operating cash only. That would be a huge common sense win for our economy. I'm also leading the charge in the House to make sure everyone has access to affordable health care and life-saving medications that don't come with a huge price tag. I've been introducing several bills that'll lower drug price costs, especially for our seniors. One I championed already made its way to the president's desk and is now law. In the road ahead, we'll be working to bring our aging infrastructure into the 21st century, invest in our schools, focus on wildfire prevention, uplift our clean energy economy to combat climate change and create jobs and much more. But none of this would have been possible, none of this agenda, without your commitment day in, day out to make this nation a better place and get Oregon Democrats elected. Thanks for all the amazing work you've done. Stay safe out there. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eddie Morales, and I'm the treasurer of the Democratic Party of Oregon. I want to remind everyone that there is a digital program online that you can access at dpo.org/program. It is my honor to get to thank our sponsors this evening. And I want to start with our platinum sponsors: U.S. Senator Ron Wyden, IBEW Local 48, IUPAT District Council 5, Cock Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians, Pacific Northwest Regional Council of Carpenters, UFCW Local 555, the Oregon Federation of Nurses and Health Professionals, Morel Inc., Aaron Mitchell and Rosa Casares of La Mota, King Estate Winery, NGP Band, and Target Smart. Thank you so much.
Councilor Morales, this is Matt Keating, DNC member. Karina Miller in the chat says cheering for all the electeds there at Wayne Morse is my favorite part of the gala. Karina, you get another crack at it, as it's my distinct honor to thank our gold level sponsors. Leading off, U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley, Governor Kate Brown, my congressman, aka the chairman, Peter DeFazio, Congressman Earl Blumenauer, Congressman Kurt Schrader, Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici, Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum, Bureau of Labor and Industries Commissioner Val Hoyle, Secretary of State Shamia Fagan. And of course, we wouldn't have a Democratic majority in the House, in the state Senate, without the great support of our gold level sponsors, Future PAC and the Senate Democratic Leadership Fund, SDLF. Gold level labor leaders, American Postal Workers Union, Iron Workers District Council of the Pacific Northwest, Oregon Machinist Council, Oregon Nurses Association, ONA, Oregon State Building and Construction Trades Council, Sheet Metal, Air Transportation, Smart Transportation Division, United Steelworkers, and rounding out DPO's gold level sponsors, Bumper Interactive, OPAD Consulting, The Pivot, Resonance Campaigns, Stone's Phones, and Winning Connections and Winning Mark. Thank you.
Councilor Matt Keating, I also agree. And just to sprinkle a few more on there, our silver sponsors include Treasurer Tobias Reed, Senate Majority Leader Rob Wagner, State Senator James Manning Jr., State Representative Rob Nose, State Representative Paul Evans, the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs, the Joint Council of Teamsters number 37, Northwest Oregon Labor Council, the AFL-CIO, CNE Systems, Fieldworks, Len Bergstein and Northwest Strategies, and more campaigns. Thank you so much.
So everybody, this will be our last Wayne Morris as a virtual event. At least we can hope for a while. But in honor of the fact that we're not gathering together to eat, this is usually a point where your folks are clinking the silverware and everything. So I would just like to present to you why you're happy this is a virtual event. Note my dinner. Yes, you will not be served this. Whoops, it's not heated. Hot dogs and jalapenos cover half the food groups. And I hope you're enjoying whatever you're engaging with in your culinary ambitions tonight. But now we've come to the portion of the evening where we recognize two remarkable Democrats for their leadership and their contributions to the party by awarding the Wayne Morris Award for Integrity and Passion and the Klonowski Award for Civic Engagement, which is named after Jim Klonowski. His sons Jake and Zachary are with us tonight. I'll be presenting the first award, the Wayne Morris Award for Integrity and Passion. 12 years ago, after years of activism and community engagement, Lou Frederick became Representative Lou Frederick. His transition to being Representative Frederick was a culmination of a frenetic appointment process that stretched over 2 months. Suddenly, being a PCP in House District 43 had become a coveted position as Democratic activists wanted to ensure their voices were heard. In the fall of 2009, they made themselves clearly heard, and the subsequent appointment of Lou to the Oregon legislature by the county commission seemed almost an afterthought. The PCPs wanted Lou, and his Northeast Portland representative district, and now his Senate district, has wanted him ever since. In fact, Lou is so popular, the GOP nominates him every cycle. But to be fair, the GOP at least has enough sense not to field a candidate, again, to face Lou. But every cycle, GOP voters in his district write him in during the primary as their nominee. But let's be clear, no senator in either party in May's 2020 primary got near Lou's total of more than 30,000 votes. And yeah, that would be Democratic votes. Lou's popularity is a direct result of everything he does for his community and everything he has stood for his entire life. He is a teacher, a media man, a fierce advocate for public education, a mentor to students and activists, and an unapologetic warrior for communities of color. He gains the admiration and respect of colleagues in and out of the legislature because he is a truth teller, even when that truth is hard or unpopular. The current legislative session has been his busiest. He has 9 committees, more than any other legislator, House or Senate. And he also serves as Senate Majority Whip. And one of his committees is redistricting. That's a little bit of a big thing in Oregon this year. Lou has introduced more than 50 bills of his own this session, including a handful of bills which were from DPO resolutions. And on top of that, he still makes time to participate in marches and rallies, connect with constituents, and run his Saturday chats. He is still Lou, the great dad and family guy, good neighbor, and a friend you can call about any time. And he actually calls back. I've had the honor to know Lou and to call him my friend for over 15 years. I have personally witnessed his unwavering compassion and devotion to his community and to Oregon. He is driven to work as hard as he does because he cares so much. He is truly committed to making people's lives better. And there is no better person at this moment in time to receive the honor of the Wayne Morse Award for integrity and passion. Folks, please give Senator Lou Frederick your best jazz hands. Lou, the mic is yours. Please say a few words for us.
Casey, I'm not sure what I can say after that kind of an introduction. That was extraordinary. I am extremely honored to receive this recognition. I cannot say as Wayne Morse said that he's a native-born Oregonian. I was born in Pullman, Washington. I grew up in the South of New England and the Midwest, and I've been in Oregon since 1974, January 19th, 1974, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I fell in love with the state and the people here as well as soon as I stepped off the bus. It was the old Greyhound bus terminal. And I walked through and people started saying hello. And I wanted to know what they wanted, and all they wanted was to say hello. I was surprised. But I came out here because there was a sense of hope that I saw. And pretty obvious from the people that I met from Oregon. And who did I meet? Well, I met 3 Republicans and a Democrat. The Democratic senator was Senator Wayne Morse. The 3 Republicans were Hatfield, McCall, and Packwood, by the way. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to spend any time with Senator Morse when I got out here. But one day in June or July of 1974, I saw Wayne Morse get out of a car a few doors away from me as I was walking down the street, and he rushed into a house on Northeast Burnside. A lanky guy opened the car door for him and then leaned against the car. I walked up to this slightly older guy and I asked, "Was that Senator Wayne Morse?" He said, "Yes." I asked, "What's he doing here?" And he said, "Well, he's talking to a supporter. I'm Ron Wyden, his driver." He said, "Well, would you say hello for me, please, and thank him?" Unfortunately, Morse died shortly after that, but his passion, I think, continues in all of us. It's why we keep pushing Oregon forward. It's why you will see some remarkable bills pass this legislative session. I mean remarkable. Take a look at some of the things that have come out. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that with the Democratic Party. We have a BIPOC caucus of 12 of us. When I started in the Oregon House, there was just one African American. And in the Senate, there was Jackie Winters. So I used to joke about going over to the Senate and tipping the Capitol just a bit, because there were two black folks, elected black folks in the Senate in the place at the time. But now we have 12, and that 12 has made a huge difference. And if you get a chance, just thank them all. They are just extraordinary. Janelle Bynum, Senator Manning, Senator Chama. I'm gonna miss somebody probably. Representative Meek, Con Pham, Wency Campos. Who am I missing here right now? I know I'm missing. Valenzuela. There are, and I'm missing Andrea Salinas, Teresa Alonso Leon. I think I've managed to get everyone there. They have taken on the roles of making a difference in the Oregon Capitol, and the bills have been extraordinary. And I think we're going to clearly try to make Oregon better. That's our mission. Imagine an Oregon that everyone feels safe in, where education means enjoying learning, where people are housed, healthy, and looking to a peaceful global future. An Oregon that celebrates equity, and an Oregon that is a model for low carbon future, a model for how we work together, all of us, that connect us, our friends around the world. It's the passion I think Democrats celebrate every day. And I really am pleased to be part of this incredible group of people determined to make a difference. And that's not just the BIPOC caucus, but it's the Democrats from throughout the state of Oregon. I really am truly honored by this award, and I thank you very much. Casey, thanks again.
It's an honor to present it to you, my friend, a real honor. And now presenting the Klonowski Award is our wonderful Attorney General, Ellen Rosenblum. Right to you, Ellen.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Morse Gala. This is such an honor. I am so proud to be presenting the Klonowski Award for Civic Engagement to East County Rising. So let's start out with the big hand or whatever you have at your disposal, because this is the most wonderful, deserving recipient for this award. And I will say, since we're all saying who we knew, I knew Jim Klonowski, and he was a wonderful man. He was a great professor of political science, and of course, a fantastic Democrat, the leader of the party here in the state for a number of years. And of his sons are here tonight. So I want to especially wish them all the best and tell them thank you for your amazing dad. So since its founding in 2018, and that's only 3 years ago, it's amazing how young East County Rising is, but it has risen fast like yeast. East County Rising has had amazing victories in these 3 years, engaging historically underrepresented communities in East Multnomah County. And because of this work, has been able to help elect 44 Democrats from school boards to statewide office. A majority of these were first-time candidates. East County Rising has helped flip all of the school boards and the city councils from Republican-controlled to Democratic-controlled. East County's elected representatives are among the most diverse, or they actually are the most diverse, I believe, in the state, truly representing their communities. And each year they continue to break voter turnout numbers from the previous years. They could not do this without the hundreds of volunteers and members. And they've also, on top of everything else they've done, and there's an amazing list of statistics here, but I'm not going to have time to go into them, but they have also supported the Preschool for All measure. They have supported Metro Parks and Nature, housing, and of course the Here Together bond. And these initiatives passed in the East County region where in the past they had failed. So it is just an incredible honor tonight to bestow this award on East County Rising, and in particular, an amazing individual whom we all know and love, Eddie Morales. Eddie, it's yours. Would you like to say a few words, Eddie?
I think he's frozen.
Oh dear. Well, I can just tell you all the wonderful things I know about Eddie. We all know he's a great guy. Hopefully he'll defrost and be able to come be with us maybe in a few minutes. Do you want to continue the program, or I'm going to turn it back over to the leaders here?
Well, I just got to say, and Eddie, if you can hear us, keep trying to unmute. And when I see you unmuted, I'll turn it over to you. But I actually live in Gresham, and I am a constituent of Eddie's, and I've worked with East County Rising. It's an amazing organization. It's vibrant, it has energy, and it's really made a difference. So it's a well-deserved award, and we're very happy for Team East County Rising. It's been amazing, and the growth rate is huge out in that part of Multnomah County, which has been purple and ranging to red. So it's an important factor that makes those seats blue and puts Democrats in the nonpartisan seats. Well, Katie, I guess we don't have Eddie, huh? We lost him?
Yeah, I think we should just keep going.
Okay, we'll just keep going then. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you so much for presenting to Eddie, and many congrats to the East County Rising team. So first off, we're getting really close to our star of the night, but we have a couple more stars to introduce first briefly. First, Senator Jeff Merkley is just the epitome of the good guy making good and doing good. Back in the 90s, he dove into party politics. He was the Multnomah Dems House District leader in what is now House District 47, just down the road from me. Yeah, I've lived everywhere. He brought the same energy to his role then that he brought to the Oregon House in 1999 as that district's House rep, and as later as Speaker of the House when the Dems took it back in 2006. Senator Merkley now has a national audience, as you well know, and he's frequently speaking the truth to issues on a bevy of cable networks. He's a star. He's our star. So please give it up for Senator Jeff Merkley via jazz hands or however you can. Senator Jeff, the Zoom is yours.
Oh, thank you so much, Casey and Oregon Democrats, and huge congratulations to Eddie Morales and to Lou Frederick. You all just so richly deserve this recognition. And all of you did such fantastic things last November. You sent all of our members of Congress back, held the Oregon House and the Oregon Senate. You really fought against the politics of hate and division. We sent Trump packing, hallelujah, put Joe Biden in the Oval Office. Oh, what a daily cause for joy. And I tell you, we have now together turned the corner on the pandemic. And I have to mention that Oregon played a big role in the fact that the Democrats in the US Senate are in charge because Oregon did more than anyone else in the country per capita on the big send to try to help turn out voters in Georgia. So well done, grassroots Oregon Democrats. What a miracle that was. Who could imagine that we would win those 2 Senate seats? Well, not all is roses. On January 6th, we saw the Republicans' intent on attacking the very foundation of our republic, and they stormed the Capitol. And they've continued the assault day in and day out, state after state, trying to put up barriers for people to vote, try to stop Black Americans from voting, Native Americans from voting, poor Americans from voting, college students from voting. It's like turning the clock back before 1965. We thought that after a couple hundred years of effort, we had finally established the principle of everyone in this country being able to participate in our elections, in the vision of the future of our country. So, what a challenge it is, because we're in this battle between the vision of power rising up from the people and helping design the future of our country, and instead power from the powerful and the privileged. And it's really the 2 parties really reflect that difference. Democrats fighting for that vision of our Constitution, power coming from the people, and the Republicans symbolizing that of power by the powerful. And nothing more conveys that than their multiple ways in which they're trying to corrupt our elections. Well, let's count those ways. First, there is those barriers to the ballot box, trying to steal the freedom and the right of so many Americans to vote. Then we have the dark money and billionaires buying elections. And then we have gerrymandering, in which the district lines are redrawn and an attack on equal representation in order to favor one party over the other. And then we have corrupt conflicts of interest that we're trying to eliminate and they're trying to preserve. And all four of these are the main four sections of S1. I'm really proud to be the lead sponsor on this effort. I don't think there's anything that I have done that isn't absolutely more essential than that. And I'm just going to check in here because I just lost a picture. Do you all still have me? Yes. Okay. You still do. Great. Okay. I'm flying blind for a moment. In order to pass S1 or HR1, but in the Senate S1, we have to get 50 votes from Democrats because Mitch McConnell called his caucus members in and he said, you absolutely cannot sponsor this bill. You cannot support it. He has welded, and he likes to say locked down, the Republicans in support of corruption. And think about Wayne Morse, his famous line, principle over politics. So here we are, we're fighting for equal representation. We're fighting for clean elections. We're fighting for the freedom to vote, these principles, and the Republicans are fighting simply for power politics for the privileged. So this is, Wayne Morse would just right now be cheering us on, saying, you got to make it happen. This is the type of reason that he was a Republican, but he became a Democrat. He saw the light. Yay, Wayne Morse. I love the story of his transition, how he went through that. And then when we have those 50 votes, we have to knock down the filibuster. And this is something I've been trying to do since I came in 2009 when you all sent me to the Senate, because I saw how Mitch McConnell took and used the filibuster not to produce compromise, but to absolutely exercise a veto over the things we're fighting for: healthcare, housing, education, living wage jobs, taking on climate, equality for LGBTQ community. So what he has done is actually get rid of the filibuster, that is the supermajority, on his priorities of tax cuts for the rich and putting Federal Society members on the Supreme Court. And so here's the question: don't we have to be as fierce in fighting for the things for the people as he was in fighting for the powerful? We have to have a level playing field, and if anything, it should be a playing field tilted in the direction of the people. After all, our philosophy embedded in our Constitution is we the people, not we the privileged. So I'm going to keep fighting this battle. We are going to have S1 for the people on the floor before August, and we are going to have to find a way to get 50 votes to pass it, and we have to find a path around that McConnell veto. So that's what I'm immersed in. It's the only thing I'm going to talk about tonight because everything else matters. Everything else depends on it. So a huge thank you to all of you, grassroots Oregon Democrats, fighting the hard battle, giving us the Senate, holding the House, and delivering so much in this battle for the vision of a country where every family has the opportunity to thrive. Thank you so much, and good night.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you for all your energy and your hard work on this. So many of you know Senator Wyden as the longtime champion for Oregon's values, from protecting seniors and consumers to advocating for the environment and healthcare. Senator Wyden's been getting things done in Washington, D.C. since 1981. He started very, very, very young. Senator Wyden is known for his strong, effective leadership, for holding Trump and the GOP accountable, and for his accessibility to the public. He played a key role in preventing the repeal of the Affordable Health Care Act, he shined the light on the GOP tax scam bill, as you all remember that, in 2017. He firstly advocates for DACA recipients, net neutrality, and protecting Americans' privacy. So, Senator, glad you could make it. The Zoom is yours.
Casey, thank you. And your introductions are always inflationary, and I so appreciate the friendship. Folks, I thought I'd start by just mentioning the times are really a-changing. A couple of days ago, Senator Merkley, Congressman DeFazio, and I were in Blue River, which, as you'll recall, just got clobbered in the fires, just got hammered. And we were dedicating a new post office. And all I could think about was the community, with the three of us working closely with them, was actually opening a post office when DeJoy started efforts to make it harder for people to vote. And now we're fighting on the floor of the United States Senate to protect voting rights. That's the difference. You're Democrats. We're helping the community open a post office, contrasted to what we're dealing with on the other side. I want to also thank Lou Frederick, my friend. It was an honor for a skinny Jewish guy to be able to drive Wayne Morris around twice. And Lou and I remember those wonderful days. And we also want to congratulate the East County Rising folks for the Kulongowski Award. You all have been incredible. Oregon Democrats have always understood that political change is grassroots up. It's hardly ever trickled down. And so we appreciate what you have done to help us get our statewides, the congressional delegation, the legislature. Again and again, you all have been there. We've had a lot of accomplishments in the last few months. The shots in the arms, the checks in the hands. In the Finance Committee, we got that child tax credit passed. And that means that now, very, very soon, families in the deepest of poverty are going to be getting real relief so they and their kids can get ahead. And we've got more big plans coming. As chairman of the Finance Committee, what I've done is say it's time to throw the 44 provisions of the tax code, which are basically tribute to the fossil fuel companies, in the garbage can, and substitute for the 44, one for clean energy, one for clean transportation fuel, and one for energy efficiency. And last Wednesday, for the first time in history, the Senate Finance Committee, with Democratic votes, passed that out of committee. The first time in history where we had actual action on climate change and clean energy. And now, what everybody's been asking me about this week is our investigation into one of the biggest of big pharma. What they're doing with the tax code is they're claiming that they've got big losses in the United States, but they've got big profits overseas. And what they're really doing is trying to get around US corporate tax rules, and Trump made it easier for them. And we're not going to let them get away with it. So that's the difference between us and them. And you heard Jeff Merkley, and he was a little bit modest. Folks, he is the architect of S1. That is his bill. And it is absolutely a lifeline if we're going to protect democracy and all of the values that all of us in this program cherish. The list goes on. Gun safety, common sense, gun safety, LGBTQ equality protections. And again, we've been up against Republican stonewalling. And that's why it's so important as we look to fight that stonewalling with grassroots activism that we recognize how lucky we are to have our guest of honor tonight. I've got the privilege of being able to introduce DNC Chair Jamie Harrison. With him at the helm, I think we're in terrific position to elect more Democrats in Oregon and across the country. All of us remember him from his courageous, gutsy campaign in South Carolina, where he was up against some of the biggest money in Lindsey Graham's political machine. And again, he made us proud as he waged that courageous fight. He's a South Carolina native, worked his way from poverty to the Ivy League and then to law school. He often points out that a kid like him, a poor child raised by a single mom, doesn't usually get a fair shot in the country. And that's why he has dedicated his life to making America even better and why we need more like Jamie Harrison in Congress. As a former chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party, he knows what helping state parties is all about. You know, a lot of people, you have to explain the role of a state party and all that. I'm looking at our chair, Jamie Harrison, and he knows more about state parties than people like me have even had a chance to think about. So we are just delighted that we've got him because he knows how to elect people up and down the ballot. As DNC chair, he's going to be taking his savvy and his experience and the historic investments that we know he believes in as far as state parties to strengthen the Democratic Party from sea to shining sea. Like all of you, I've been looking forward to hearing from DNC Chair Jamie Harrison tonight, and let's now give him a big Oregon digital standing ovation. Chair Jamie Harrison.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. And thank you for your leadership in the United States Senate and the Senate Finance Committee. We are so in your debt because you work hard each and every day. And I'm so thankful for you and all that you do for not only Oregon, but what you do for the nation. And I want to thank my good friend KC, and I want to thank Brad Martin and the entire leadership team, my DNC members, in the great state of Oregon. Thank you all for your tireless efforts to elect Democrats all over the state. And of course, I'd be remiss if I did not recognize Senator Jeff Merkley. You know, Senator Merkley actually got an opportunity to meet my sons and to come and break bread with me at my house here in South Carolina. And Senator Merkley is just an amazing, amazing guy. And I'm so proud that he is shepherding through the United States Senate S1, which is a game changer, folks. We need S1 to pass. If nothing else passes between now and November, we need S1 to pass. And there's nobody who's more dogged than Senator Merkley to make sure that we get there. And so, Senator, thank you for your leadership. And thank all of our Democrats in Oregon from the congressional delegation in the state and the state as well. We're really, really appreciative of all the hard work that you do. You all are shining examples of leaders who deliver for the people you represent. My friends, we have come a long way from November 2016, and we've only been able to get to this point because of the work you all have put in. Because of Democratic activists, volunteers, and supporters like you, we were able to elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as president and vice president of the United States. We easily reelected Oregon Democrats to Congress, the state legislature, and the Attorney General's office. And we flipped the Secretary of State's office. And folks, we have stats. We have stats to show how effective you've been. Nearly 1 million get out the vote calls. More than 197,000 voters reached through the Neighborhood Leader Program. A 6% increase in turnout of voters contacted by almost 2,700 neighborhood leaders. Folks, you are doing everything right. And because of your hard work, we're seeing the benefits of genuine leadership, not just in Oregon, but across the country. In just 4 months, look at what we did to turn around the inaction of the past 4 years. Under the leadership of President Biden and Democrats in Congress, we are tackling the pandemic head on. No president in modern history has taken office during a global health crisis of this level. But nearly 300 million vaccines later, including almost 4 million in Oregon alone, we're gradually getting this virus under control. We're delivering much needed help to American families. In the face of a crashing economy, we cut taxes for families with children. We also delivered 160 million relief checks. And we strengthened the Affordable Care Act by slashing premiums. We are also making investments to rescue and rebuild our economy. Under the Biden-Harris administration, the economy created more new jobs in the first 100 days than any administration in this nation's history. We also extended the small business loan program and provided relief to 4 million small businesses that are struggling during the pandemic. Folks, this is what government looks like when it delivers. This is what government looks like when elected officials do their jobs. This is what government looks like when we elect Democrats to office. And we are not done. We're going to follow the hugely successful American Rescue Plan with the American Jobs Plan and the American Families Plan. We're going to re-elect Senator Wyden and our 4 Democratic members of Congress. We're going to and re-elect Senator Merkley. We are going to flip the 2nd District and plant a blue flag firmly in the ground of the new 6th Congressional District. We're going to re-elect Val Hoyle to the Bureau of Labor. We're going to send another Democrat to the governor's mansion, and we're going to expand our supermajorities in the state legislature. Folks, to get there, we cannot get complacent. We have to start working now. We need you out there organizing. The 2022 election doesn't start next summer after primaries. It starts today. We need you to establish a presence right now. Listen and learn from your communities. Build those relationships. Let them know that Democrats are here to stay all year, every year. We're committed to engaging with voters early and often and becoming part of their communities. As I often say, the Democratic Party can't just be a political organization. We have to be a community organization, addressing the everyday needs of people across this country. And that requires a year-round presence. Recently, I announced that we are going to make our largest investment ever this early in a midterm election. Over the next year, we will invest $20 million in midterm programs. And that money isn't just going to battleground states, folks. That's going all around the country. We're learning from our successes in 2020. We're going to build and maintain a presence everywhere. We're committed to reaching communities that have previously gone ignored and flipping districts and states that have been deemed unflippable. Our strategy takes no voter and no community for granted. The DNC will also be providing at least $23 million to Democratic state parties as part of our 2022 midterm strategy. This is a part of an announcement that Brad Martin, your own Brad Martin, was a crucial part of. And I want to thank him for his leadership on that. This is our largest ever investment in state parties and grassroots infrastructure. Folks, it's going back to that 57 states and territory strategy. This agreement will increase funding, staff, and tools. We will support programs that encourage forward-thinking initiatives that are effective, like your Neighborhood Leaders Program. And we're going to serve as a central knowledge hub for down-ballot races. We're also in this initiative establishing a 7-figure red state fund to take the fight directly to the Republicans where they feel safest. As I like to say, my friends, this ain't your grandmama's DNC. We're going to invest in creating a deep bench of local talent. We're looking for future leaders who know and reflect the communities they wish to serve. That means making efforts outside of the traditional recruiting pipeline and empowering more locals to stand up and speak out. And we're going to protect your right to vote. You know, the Republicans want to stop us from voting, and it's just that simple. And like you, I am committed to lifting up every single voter in this country and guaranteeing fair and informed access to the ballot box. At the DNC, we're fighting every day to restore and protect the fundamental right to vote. As chair, it's my priority to carry forward the good work we've been doing and to build on that progress that we've made. I want to put the Republicans on notice with all of these suppression bills that, folks, we are not going back. My grandparents grew up in the Jim Crow South, and I can tell you this, I'd be damned if I let my kids have to grow up in an environment just like my grandparents. We are not going back. We're going to do everything in our power with every breath in my body, every drop of blood that flows through my veins to make sure that we are fighting back against these efforts to take this country back to a time that we don't want to retreat to. Folks, you know, we got a lot of fight ahead of us, but there are a lot of great developments in the weeks and months ahead. But I need you all to do me a favor in the meantime. I'm counting on all of you. I need you to tell your friends, your family, your neighbors, and your coworkers. I need you to tell everyone who will listen about everything you hear today. Tell every person you see on a screen or in person that President Biden delivered. Tell them that the president delivered COVID relief and got folks vaccinated, that he's actively working to reopen the country correctly and safely, that he's doing his job as a leader. Our job is to make sure everybody knows it. You must tell the story that in our greatest time of need, it was this president and Democrats in Congress who stood up and delivered for the American people. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you all for your steadfast support. Thank you for continuing to believe in the positive changes we can make. With all of us pitching in, we can unite people everywhere. My friends, this is something I've learned in my 45 years on this earth. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, Democrats can't do when we work and stand together. So thank you all for having me tonight. Continue the good work, folks. I hope to visit you all in person sometime soon. But take care of yourselves, and thank you again for having me.
Now we'll go right to Oregon State Treasurer Tobias Reed. You know, he's working hard to provide tools and opportunities to help Oregon families, from the student to the folks who have retired. Tobias Reed, I'm going to go right to you. The Zoom mic is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Oregon Democrats, for joining us this evening. It is great to see so many of you and have the opportunity to update you on the work we've been doing since I was reelected in 2020, thanks to so many of you. As treasurer, I am focused on the issues that Oregon families talk about around their kitchen tables: how to save for retirement, how to save for education after high school, how to bring high-speed internet and jobs and health services to rural Oregon. We successfully managed the rollout of a new state-based retirement savings program, Oregon Saves, for private sector employees without retirement options at work. We're the first in the country to do it, and we've done it in a way that's picked up support and positive feedback in a bipartisan way from employers and people across Oregon as we've done that. And we passed an important milestone recently. Our 100,000 plus participants have collectively saved more than $113 million for retirement. This from people who've mostly never had an opportunity to save before. Now, for an ordinary, everyday Oregon family, saving for college can seem like an impossible goal. So we've been working to make it easier. And for the first time, the Oregon College Savings Plan has a tax credit that is both progressive and refundable, like the political tax credit. So a family with an income of $30,000, if they can put $300 in a college savings account, their tax bill will go down by $300 or their refund will increase by $300. They get that money back. And this means that the people who need it most get the most benefit. It can make the dream of a college education a reality for families who have always thought it was out of reach. Let me tell you what's at stake here. Just having a college savings account, no matter how much is in it, makes a person 3 times more likely to go to college and 4 times more likely to finish. That's why we're providing $25 of seed money when people open an account within a child's first year of life. The program's called Baby Grad, and we make the same offer for a kindergartner in our program called Kindergrad. Progress like this happens when we elect Democrats up and down the ticket. I don't have to remind you of this. And I want us to do that hard work to move the state forward together. I want us to get outside of our comfort areas and talk to those Oregonians who don't agree with us, as well as the progressive voters we're trying so hard to turn out. We need to bring people together around a shared long-term vision of Oregon where everyone has a chance at success, whether they live in Portland or the South Coast or the Umatilla Reservation. 2022 is going to be a pivotal year. We know that despite all the noise and distractions that are out there, most voters want to hear from us about what we're doing to help their families have things a little bit easier. They want to know how we're helping with affordable housing and creating good jobs with good benefits. They want to know how we'll make prescription drugs more affordable, improve access to good, affordable childcare, and help move people off the streets and into more stable housing. Our long-term success revolves around our ability to have these conversations with all Oregonians. And the challenge, I believe, is for us to have these conversations with grace and humility. We don't want to become a party that divides and vilifies. And this will take hard work from elected officials like myself, those who are gathered here tonight, but also from our passionate and talented volunteers who are the heart and soul of our party. I'm looking forward to working with all of you to make 2022 our most successful campaign year yet. And I want to say thanks for all that you do and all that you will do. Thanks, Madam Chair. Thanks, Democrats.
Thank you, Treasurer Reed. Thank you for all the good work you do. It's fantastic. You know, we've got a lot of speakers. You know why? We elect a lot of Democrats. We do a great job, and they do a great job for us, and it's a upward cyclone. So next on tap is our great statewide labor commissioner, Val Hoyle. She stands up for workers. She gets Blue-Green Alliance, and she is all about getting Oregon to work. Commissioner Hoyle, the Zoom is yours.
So, hi everybody, and I want to thank you for everything and for helping me get here today. Now, today is the day that we wear orange to recognize victims of gun violence, and orange is the color that Hadia Pendleton's friends wore in her honor when she was shot and killed in Chicago at the age of 15, just 1 week after performing at Obama's second inauguration. So we stand up, we wear orange. I know this is red. I live in Duck Country. I don't actually own any orange, and sorry to my friends out in Benton County, but I don't. But I do have my Moms Demand Action shirt that I got when my constituent came to me and told me that her niece was murdered at Sandy Hook. And could I do something for gun safety? And that's when we pass background checks. And this legislature and this governor has done so much more than that. I live in a rural community. I am a gun owner. I support gun safety. And the bottom line is we need to have Democratic majorities so that we can do these progressive things. And we know that the Republicans are going to come hard after us in 2022. I'm on the ballot, so I'm just going to tell you, I have a personal interest in the Democratic Party of Oregon being strong. I am a former chair of the Democratic Party of Lane County. And when I ran in Obama's, it was in 2010. So it was midterm after he was elected, just like Biden's going to be in 2022. It was one of the hardest races I've ever run. And I've always run hard races. There were only 2 of us that won that year that were in swing districts. Now, if you look at the school board races that just happened and what Oregon Right to Life put into those school board races, by the way, just yesterday, we found out that in Salem-Keizer, we won all 4 seats, all 4 of them. And again, 2 of them went right down to the wire. But the bottom line is we won in Ben-Lapine. We won right here in Springfield. We won in Salem-Keizer. We won across the state, but they came hard with a lot of money. Now, with the 6th congressional seat, with redistricting, with, you know, an open governor seat, what we know is that Republicans from around the country are going to put money in. They're already, I'm seeing ads against Peter DeFazio already. So the bottom line is the Democratic Party of Oregon needs to be strong. And what they're doing this year is they've already hired Ashleen Coughlin as a political coordinated campaign organizer. We've got a comms person. We have someone that's doing tracking. You know why? We're not asleep at the wheel. I won in 2010 and we barely kept the majority in the House because we left nothing on the field. And the reason I won in 2010 was because of volunteers from the Democratic Party of Lane County. So my opponent had more money. We had more feet on the street. We need to leave nothing on the table so that we can continue to be the progressive champions and the model for what the rest of the country can do, whether it was automatic voter registration or it's gun safety legislation, or it's the police reform that Senator Manning and Representative Biden have pushed through and championed. All of these things happened because we had Democrats in charge. And let's look at what the option is. It isn't just small government versus big government. It is a democratic small d republic and fascism, right? People that want to overthrow the government and install an autocrat. This is scary. These are scary times. I am proud to be an Oregonian. Our state party matters more than ever. Thank you, every single person that gave tonight. And thank you, every single person that's going to volunteer from now to 2022. So go fight, win.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. We will go fight, win. And with that, I am going to go to immediately to our Secretary of State, Shemia Fagan. She's on it. She's with us via video. Couldn't make it tonight, but go ahead and roll tape.
Hello, Oregon Democrats. Happy Wayne Morse dinner. I'm Shemia Fagan.
I'm your Secretary of State. Yeah, it still gives me chills to say that I am Oregon's Secretary of State. Blows my mind. And who do I have to thank for this extraordinary honor? I have you to thank. Thank you so much. Man, the volunteering that you all did last November to make sure that we elect Democrats up and down the ticket. I'm one of those Democrats that benefited, and you can count on me to make sure that it is Oregonians and Americans and our democracy that will benefit from my service thanks to your hard work. As we've seen, it is more important than ever that we have a Secretary of State here in Oregon and across the country who recognizes that the right to vote is sacred and that speaks out against and opposes voter suppression bills that we're seeing in Georgia and Texas and Michigan and all across this country. We even saw them introduced here in Oregon, but shout out to our Democratic legislators in the House and the Senate who said, oh, hell no, that's not happening in Oregon. We're gonna be moving forward, making it easier for people to vote, not allowing people to make it harder for certain people to vote. So I just want to thank you. We're doing some extraordinary work. We just hired this agency's first ever diversity, equity, inclusion director, because I am committed and we are committed at the Secretary of State's office to make sure everything we do, from archives to audits to the corporation division and the elections, that equity is infused in everything that we do, because we're not going to leave any Oregonians behind in the work that we do at the Secretary of State's office. I was honored to join the National Advisory Committee for the National Popular Vote to make sure that we actually live up to the ideals of one person, one vote. So happy Wayne Morris dinner. I'm going to go answer the phone. It's probably KC calling me for some money. Hey, KC. Hey, Brad. Hey, Oregon Democrats. Happy Wayne Morris dinner.
Thanks to Shamia Fagan for that video. Next up to bat, House Majority Leader Barbara Smith Warner, my longtime friend, colleague, and partner in crime.
Hey people, hey DPO. I think I join all of you in saying, here's hoping this will be our last virtual Wayne Morris dinner. Here's to Wayne Morrising together, doing so many things together in person in the future. So I am going to save back some of the time. It's a Democratic Party gathering when it goes over time and there's no thought of shortening it out. Nope, we want to hear from each other. We want to talk. We want to share our beliefs and values. Amen. Well, I'm still going to give you a minute or so back to just say thank you all for your ongoing support and engagement of our caucuses, House Dems, Senate Dems, working together like never before this cycle. You'll hear from, I might just be throwing it over to Senate Majority Leader Rob Wagner. We have just had such a great time bringing our caucuses together and really staying focused on making meaningful progressive change, responding to the ongoing multiple crises that we've been through in the last year plus. And let me tell you, we are going to put out a budget that you will be proud of, that will really make a difference in significant investments that are going to be transformative in how we live in this state, whether it's childcare or mental health or housing. We are going to show how Democrats get things done when Democrats run a state and Democrats invest in the people to get us out, to get us recovered together, to help us build back better from top to bottom. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to my Senate colleague, Senate Majority Leader Rob Wagner. And thank you all for being here. And I hope many of you join me on the President's Council.
Hey, Oregon Democrats, this is State Senator Rob Wagner, the Senate Majority Leader. I wish I could be with you at the Wayne Morse dinner this evening. Fortunately and also unfortunately, I'm not able to be there because I have two kids who are graduating high school tonight. So really thrilled that we're actually able to be with them and to be able to celebrate and supporting after such a tough year. We're only a few weeks left in our legislative session for this year, and wanted to say thank you to all of you for all the incredible work and support that you provide during the election cycle that gives us the opportunity to come into the Capitol building and represent you. And then also for the support that you give us throughout all the tough conversations that were happening. I'm looking down at a list right now of some of our fellow state senators, and I'm just so impressed at the work that's already gone into everything that we've said that we're going to try to achieve. Whether or not that's looking at our environmental protections for the state of Oregon, whether or not that's working with Senator Burdick on sensible gun safety, whether or not that's working with Senators Gorsuch and Manning and Frederick around sensible policing and trying to use an equity approach on how we're looking at criminal justice issues, whether or not that's supporting Senator Golden on wildfire and trying to get prevention measures upstream, looking at Senator Gelser here and Senator Patterson, who are doing incredible things for seniors and our kids, and Senator Lieber, who's working so diligently on human services issue. I could go on and I won't, but I just wanted to say I wish I was with you, and thank you so much for everything that you do for the Democratic Party, and I look forward to seeing you at many more fundraisers in the future. Thanks again.
Well, thank you to majority leaders, Barbara Smith Warner and Rob Wagner. So we come to the end of tonight, and you've been thanked a lot because you've been there in the past, you've been there in the present, and you're going to be there in the future. And obviously, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. 2022 is a challenging year, but it could be a huge winning year for us. And it will be a huge winning year for us because of everything that you've done and will continue to do. So keep the faith, keep the work up, encourage people to, if not donate and support the DPO, sign up, become a neighborhood leader. Your action item, go home with homework. I did get a teaching degree in the many bygone days. Your homework assignment is recruit another Democrat to do something. We are better because we are a team. Huge thanks to Chair Jamie Harrison. And I'm getting a note, by the way, as you saw, our Eddie Morales's computer or internet connection completely disappeared. So we'll get him the award and let him properly accept it in a future event, which will be in person. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you all so much. We'll see you down the road because road trips are coming soon. Good night, everybody.